and then I'll do the rest. I'll kind of go through and give you my background and talk about a few things.
Cool. All right, we'll wait a little bit. Okay. Maybe more people will pop on, I'm not sure, but let's just honor everyone's time. This is being recorded. I know that there are quite a few people that were going to watch this later. So my name is Carol Ye Garner. I'm part of Melissa Kohler's downline, and I was at the Salt Lake, the convention that we just had in Salt Lake City, and we were having a team event, and one of my team members went to the iTovi booth and said, like, hey, we're having this event, could I get some like brochures or whatever? And one of the women there, Nicole, was like, well, why don't I just come to your event and I'll do iTovi scans for everybody? And she like dropped everything, brought it like a whole basket of like little iPads, and came and did like a quick, I think like 15 or 20-minute video talking about like how she uses iTovi to get people to come to her classes and how it's really helped her. And my team found it super helpful. So I've stayed in touch with Nicole, and she told me that her and Jon, who is the VP of sales at iTovi, would love to come and talk to the team. So, we have Jon McGarry here to talk to us about iTovi and how we can build our businesses and grow our businesses using an iTovi. So thanks, Jon. Take it away.
I love it. And if I sound, I'm a little under the weather. So I've been a little sick. I've got some thieves lozenges right here. So I may be popping some as we go through. But I just want to give you a little bit more of my background. So I started in the network marketing industry in 1999. So I'm coming up on 23 years in the industry. I've worked for some of the biggest network marketing companies. I've had the opportunity of launching my own network marketing companies with a group of executives, and we've had a lot of success. But it was 2015. I had been 17 years on the corporate side of things, and I'd never been on the distributor side. And so I quit my job as vice president of global sales for a big publicly traded company, and I started a home base essential oil business. And I had taught people how to be successful, how to maximize the compensation plan, how to really develop teams and build their business and really focus on that duplication. But I'd never actually done it myself. And so I needed to kind of prove to myself that I could do it. And so, again, I quit my job. I don't recommend anybody ever do that, but it was what I needed to do in the situation that I had. So I quit my job, and my wife and I went to work. And we started, we made a lot of mistakes it's very easy to tell somebody, hey, go talk to 10 new people. Like, it's super easy to say that to somebody, but when you're the one that needs to go talk to 10 new people or 20 or 50 or 100 new people, there's a whole different mentality there from telling somebody to do something as opposed to actually doing it. And so we went to work, and we used iTovi to help us generate leads. And what we would do is we scanned as many people as we possibly could. We reached the rank of diamond, same equivalent as Young Living, same volume requirements. We did that in 90 days. And we maintained that for a number of years. And then that company actually got sold to a different company. They got rid of all of their essential oils, and my entire team disappeared. So be grateful that you're with Young Living, and longevity, real company that's there for the long run. And really, I fell in love with essential oils when I actually worked for Young Living. So I was the director of sales for Young Living for a number of years in the early 2000s. So I would say probably I left in 2009. So probably about 2004 to 2009, I was actually the director of sales for Young Living. And that's where I fell in love. I didn't know about essential oils. until I started working there. And man, I still use them today. We use them every single day and absolutely love them. But I'll talk a little bit about what I did and some of the success that I had, using an iTovi, because it's awesome. It just uses, a cell phone and the scanner. It's super simple to use. It uses galvanic skin response to talk back and forth. So what we've done is we've acquired every single Young Living product, every single one of the oils, the blends, the supplements. We take them to our lab and we extract the frequencies of those oils. We then put those frequencies into an iTovi. So when you're doing a scan, you need to make sure that these two sensors are touching. It's going to send those frequencies to your body and then measure your body's response. And it's very similar to, an Apple Watch. I wear an Apple Watch, and it's very similar to an Apple Watch where it sends a signal to the body and measures your body's response. We use galvanic skin response to be able to accurately measure your body's response to those frequencies. So what it does is it makes it really easy to talk to people about the Young Living products, because when they do a scan, they're going to get results showing them which products their body had the best response to. So it's not saying that they're deficient in frankincense. Let's say frankincense is their top product. Your body doesn't naturally produce frankincense. You couldn't be deficient in it. But what it's saying is that if your top product was frankincense, that your body would have a real positive experience if you were to use frankincense right then. So it makes it really easy to be able to talk to people about the Young Living products in a way that's really personal to them, and in a way where you don't feel like you're pushing the products on other people. You're just answering questions based upon their scan results. So it then, as you go through the report, you'll see that it gives you the top products that you scan for, and then it shows your emotion and body systems. What I love this for, especially that emotion wheel, I have 4 beautiful children. I've got a beautiful wife and 4 beautiful children. My oldest is 16. My youngest is 9. And they don't have a very good way of expressing how they're dealing with emotionally. They come home from school. I ask them how school was, and they're like, oh, it's just like every other day, and I want to dig a little deeper into, what they're dealing with. So I scan my kids every week. And then we look for trends. We look for things that are showing up. If some of those emotion categories are showing up, kind of in a weird way, or they're showing up scan after scan, then that's something that I can talk to them about, and something that I can say, hey, I noticed that, this is happening. These are showing up. What's going on at school? And it just gives me an opportunity to be able to talk to people about their, and my kids about their emotions. And then the same thing with the body systems. We look for those trends. We scan once a week to look for trends that are showing up, looking for, maybe the immune system starts showing up. And so we know, hey, there's something going on with the immune system. It's time to load up on some Thieves products and load up on, some supplements to really be able to boost that immune system and really be able to strengthen that. So it makes it really nice to just be able to generate that exposure and to give people a place to start. I can't tell you how many people that I came across that would get overwhelmed. And even the company that I had, they had hundreds of, oils and products. And some of the people that I would talk to, they would get so overwhelmed. They'd say, John, there's just so many products. I don't even know where to start. So I'm not even going to start. I'm not going to do it, because they just got overwhelmed with everything. They didn't know how to use the oils. They didn't know the proper way to do it. And so it got overwhelming. But when I started using iTovi, it made it really simple, because it was able to narrow down. Instead of looking at, 150 products, we were able to look at their scan. I would scan for 5 products whenever I scanned somebody for the first time. And then we would be able to talk about those 5 specific products. And we would talk about, the benefits that they can receive, how to use them. If I had them, then we'd get, have an experience, maybe make up a little blend of the 5 products that they scanned for. So it just made it really simple to be able to really get people started on that essential oil journey. And that was a big part of it for me, was to getting people comfortable about essential oils, about my company, getting them comfortable enough to make a decision. And that's really where I had my success, is because and I'll say this, in being on the corporate side of a lot of network marketing companies for, a long time, there's three types of people. There's those that don't follow any kind of a system. And if they're trying to build their business, they don't really have a lot of success, because they don't have a good system in place. And so they just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll follow up when I remember. And then they forget to follow up. And then a month goes by and they haven't followed up, and then they do follow up, but it's been too long. And so the person that they were trying to work with is like, oh yeah, I've kind of forgot about that. So there's those kind of people. There's the people that kind of follow a system, and they're like, yeah, I try to do it. I don't really teach it in my group as much, but this is kind of what I do, kind of here and there. And those are the ones that are usually kind of those mid-rank individuals, those people that are sitting there at, maybe just silver or gold, and they've been sitting there for a long, long time because they just kind of haven't duplicated that down throughout their groups. And then you see those individuals that have a system, they follow a system, and they teach people to do that exact same system. And those are the ones that you'll see constantly rising to the top in network marketing companies, because they are following a duplicatable system. That's a main reason why you don't see a lot of celebrities as top leaders in network marketing companies, because I had the opportunity to bring in a number of celebrities into different companies. And the celebrity would join the business. Because of who they were, they would sign up 1,000 people. And then those 1,000 people, and then they didn't have a system in place. And so then those 1,000 people would just stumble and fall, and they didn't have the connections to bring in 1,000 people of their own. And so those people would get frustrated, and they would say, oh, this system doesn't work, I can't do this. So they would all start to go away. And then the celebrity would come back to us and say, obviously this system doesn't work because none of my people are having success. And it's because there wasn't a system involved for having that success. So I'll tell you what my system was. So whether it was me or my wife, we would scan, and sometimes like in those 90 days, there were times that there were months that we scanned hundreds and hundreds of people, and we would scan them that's the nice thing about iTovi, is I had put it in my pocket, and you come across somebody at the grocery store or at a coffee shop or just wherever you're at out in public. And if you ask somebody for a free scan, the likelihood of them saying yes is almost 100%. And they'll say, I would just talk to people. I'd see somebody in the grocery store with a bunch of healthy products in their shopping cart. And I would say, looks like you're into health. You've got a lot of healthy food there. Start up a conversation. I'd say, hey, I've got this wellness tool. Can I scan you with it really quick and just kind of see where you're at? And they're like, yeah, sure. What is it? And then it gave me an opportunity to talk about it and kind of share some things. So what I would do, whenever I would scan someone, I would scan them. I would let them kind of go through the report. I would help them to download the app themselves, so that way they had the exact same experience that they were looking at on my phone or my tablet. So I would help them to download the app. And then if I knew them, if it wasn't just kind of a random stranger, if I knew them, I would always set up a follow-up scan. So here's a prime example. My next door neighbor, his name's Alex. So what I did with Alex is I went and I scanned Alex and his wife, and then we set up a follow-up scan 3 to 4 weeks later. So for Alex, it was about 3.5 weeks later that we set up a follow-up scan. And I did that right then during that first scan. Then what I did after we had gone through the reports, I said, hey, Alex, I would love to be able to share some information about the products that you just scanned. Is that going to be okay? Alex is like, yeah, sure. I'd love to know more about these products. So within 24 hours, I would send Alex information about the top product that he scanned for. So if it was lemongrass, hey, here's a great PDF on lemongrass. And then within 72 hours, I would send him information on the next 2 products that showed up on his scan. So if it was lavender, hey, here's a video that my company produced on why our lavender is so much better than all the other lavender that's out there, and I would share some good content. My whole goal with Alex was, just like I said earlier, was to get him comfortable enough to make a decision. Because if you talk to somebody for the first time, you talk to them about oils, a lot of times they're just not interested day one, like right out of the gate. Sometimes you come across somebody that maybe they want to buy some products, but a lot of times it takes a little time to get people comfortable enough. It's just like a new restaurant. I compare it to, going to a new restaurant. There's a brand new restaurant that opens in your neighborhood, and one of your neighbors tells you about it. They said, oh, you have got to check out this great new chicken sandwich place, whatever it is. Are you going to go get that chicken sandwich? Probably not. There's like a 5% chance that you're going to go get that chicken sandwich. But then if you hear it from another friend, and then you hear it on the radio, and then you see a TV ad for it, and then you see it on the news saying, holy cow, this place is awesome, the likelihood of you going to that place after 5 to 7 exposures is almost 100%. And so that was my goal with Alex, was to give Alex 5 to 7 good, solid, positive exposures, whether it was a video, maybe it was a conference call that we were on, maybe it was just a PDF with some information about the products. But if I could get Alex learning about them, the likelihood of me going back in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks later, and having Alex comfortable enough to make a decision was really, really high if I had done my job and followed up with that system. And if Alex wasn't ready, if the timing just wasn't right for him, I would just do the same thing over again. I would just say, hey, great, let me do this again. I'll send you some information on the next products that you scanned for. But the likelihood of them at least getting comfortable enough to place an order for some product was really, really high if I had done my job and followed up and helped them to be comfortable enough. So super simple. And then what I would do when somebody, and not all the people joined my team, a lot of people just wanted to place orders for products, which was wonderful, just helping them bless their lives and the lives of their family. But for those that did join my team, I said, hey, do you remember what I did with you, where I scanned you and then I followed up with you and I sent you information and I followed the system? Do the exact same thing. Go get an iTovi, scan as many people as you possibly can, and then follow up with them in a way that makes it comfortable enough for them to make a decision. So one of the other things that I did, is I would use a case like this. So this isn't my actual case. This is just kind of a demo. But what you can do is you can put 15 of your favorite samples in. So I would go to a lot of like farmers markets and trade shows and just a lot of smaller events that were happening. I would just go into the calendar and look at, I'm sure all of you have kind of an event center in your area. And I would just look and see what kind of events were taking place. If there was a health expo, or if there was a home expo, and I knew there was going to be a lot of people coming through, I would get a small little booth. I would get a case like this. I would put 15 of the oils that I thought would best fit the group of people that I was going to. Then in the actual app, you can set up a product group, and it will just scan for just these 15 products. So then I knew that I didn't have a lot of time with somebody that's walking by my booth, because there's 100 other booths that are there. And so I would set up this product group knowing that the scan would take about 10 seconds because I'm only scanning for just these 15 oils. I know that I have a sample of each one of them. And then what I would do is actually bring a larger, 15 ml bottle. And if their top product that showed up was lavender, wonderful. I'd pull out lavender, put a couple of drops in their hands, have them experience it, have them put some on and have an experience with it. And then I've collected their name, their telephone number and their email, because you have to do that from every single person that you scan. And then what I would do is I would just follow up. I'd say, hey, I would really love to scan you for all of the products. We just don't have time here at this event. We've got a lot of people coming through. Can I set up a follow-up with you later this week to be able to scan you for all of the products that my company has to offer? And then we'd meet at a Starbucks, or we'd meet at a, just a neutral location somewhere. And I would be able to scan them again for all of the products that the company, that Young Living has, and be able to continue to follow up with that. So it makes it really easy and really a great way to generate a lot of leads, to generate a lot of clients. And then you're able to follow up with them. And some of them, no matter what you do or no matter what you say, they're maybe not interested, which is totally fine. When they say that, usually what they mean is that the timing's not right. It doesn't mean that they hate you and that they hate Young Living products. It just means that they're saying the timing is not right. I've got issues happening with my family or my kids or school or whatever it is, and the timing just isn't right. So I would always keep a list. The nice thing is, in the iTovi app, it actually keeps track of all of those people. So there would be people that I had scanned, 6 months before. They're still in my client list. And you'd be surprised at how many people I would call 6 months later and say, hey, I know I scanned you a couple of times and the timing just wasn't right. I'd love to do another scan with you. And a lot of times they'd be like, John, are you still doing that? Are you still involved, in that? And I'd say, yeah, we're having a lot of success. And they'd say, yeah, I'd love to have another scan. And I'd go over and scan them, and the timing was right. The timing was different. And they'd say, you know what, I've been thinking about it. Let's just place an order for a few of these products, and I'd really like to start using them. So, even though it took 6 months later and the timing was, right at that time, you just keep following up with people, and you keep pushing forward. And there's always going to be the challenges. There's always going to be, those that just aren't ready and the timing's not right, but you just keep moving forward. And the nice thing is, with the Young Living products, that they're there to bless the lives of other people. And that if they just use the products, they're going to have, wellness and success in terms of physical health and wellness. And so it's nice to be able to have a tool like iTovi that really gives you that opportunity to just make it personal. Instead of you pushing all the products on people, make it really personal to them and say, hey, here's some products, here's some things to get you started in your oil journey, and just make it super, super simple and really duplicatable so that people can, have those amazing benefits. So I know I could go on forever, and I'm happy to do so, but I'd love to answer if there's any questions. I'd love to open it up if people have any questions about kind of what I did, or the success, or questions about iTovi, or how to use it to build a business, or use it for personal use, because we do have about half of the people that have iTovis use it just for personal use. So they just use it to scan themselves and maybe their family members. For those people, we recommend scanning once a week, and then look for trends. Look for products that show up, scan after scan. If you're scanning new people, we recommend every 2 to 3 weeks. So awesome. Let's see. Vera's got a question here. Which iTovi do you use? There's only one iTovi. It's this right here. It's this device. We've had this one for a couple of years, so pretty awesome. Super stable. Is there a way to print off someone's report? So what you could do is you could do screenshots. Awesome question, Amber. You can do screenshots. So there's not really a way to print it off because it's on a phone or a tablet. We don't use it through a computer, and so usually computers have that. But I would recommend, if you want it. Now, here's the other thing. It automatically gets emailed to them every time. As long as in the settings, you've done auto email report. Every time you scan someone, it will automatically email that report to that individual. But again, like I would recommend, get them to download the app, because the experience is way better and they'll see it just like they're seeing it on your phone. So awesome. What oils do you have in your sample case? Awesome question. So this kind of depends on what kind of an event I was going to. If I was going to a farmer's market, it was going to be very different than if I was going to like a trade show that was on, a trade show for like home and garden. Those sample oils would be very different because I was trying to focus on oils that I thought the group of individuals, like who was attending, would be very interested in. So a lot of times for like a farmer's market, they were going to be a lot more of your, kind of your traditional ones, maybe, lemon, lavender, peppermint, definitely have some of the citrus oils that were in there. Maybe some of the pine oils. It just depends on what event I was attending, and I would switch those out. And then what I would do is you can create as many product groups as you want. So if I was going to a farmer's market, and I would set up the group, and then what I would do is I would call it, Farmer's Market September 10th, whatever date it was. And that way I was able to keep track of each one of those product groups and know exactly which products were in there for each one of those groups. So super awesome. Awesome questions. Other questions? Any other questions about how you can use iTovi?
Can you, I loved how you described how you tell people what the iTovi is, because that's my biggest hurdle. Because I'm like, yeah, I use this galvanic skin response, which is like similar to what, your iPhone, your iWatch, Apple Watch or whatever, and like lie detector tests do. But that whole thing about like the frequencies thing, like that, I need to know that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the easiest way is just to say we take every single Young Living product, we take the frequencies, we then put those frequencies into the iTovi. So when a scan is being done, it's just sending the frequencies from the scanner to your body and then measuring your body's response. And this is happening hundreds of times during a scan. So if you're scanning for all the oils or all the products, a scan may take 2 minutes because it's sending those signals, and it starts out with a display of this big, and then it keeps sending those signals until it's able to narrow down and then generate that accurate report every single time. So, and then using our algorithm, we're able to interpret the response to those frequencies and actually match up the products to the actual responses, and then give you that report in a very accurate way. So, and again, there's some great tools on our business. We have a Facebook page. It's just iTovi Business Builder Facebook group. If you're not a member there, it's an awesome resource, and there's a ton of information. There's actually a great PDF there where it talks about 5 different ways to talk to people about iTovi and how it works, but like totally different approaches. So one may be like an energy approach. One may be a natural wellness approach. One may be a technology approach, which is the one I always go to with my Apple Watch, as I compare it to another technology. But there's some great resources that are there as well. So awesome question. So this question just got up is, I saw somewhere that you can scan your dog. So I've got a dog at home, and my daughter has a bearded dragon, and we scan them every single week. And so with a dog or a pet, any kind of an animal, you just need to make sure that this sensor and that sensor are touching the skin. So that's why we specifically designed that little drop down right there, if you can see it, so that way you could just put it, or like an infant, you can just hold it right up against the skin, just like that. And so we have a ton of people, especially huge in the equestrian with horses industry. We have other individuals that came up to us at the Young Living event. They've got a huge cattle farm. They scan their cows every single week. They'll scan every single one of their cows and look for, anomalies, look for things that are showing up. But we have a little Maltese dog. He's about this big, little teeny tiny thing. And but we scan him. You just need to find a spot that has the least amount of fur or hair. So usually like on the inner leg or like kind of on the belly, we always scan him on his belly. One thing that I would recommend, it does vibrate. When you start a scan, it vibrates, and then when the scan ends, it vibrates. So what I would always do is to start it, let it vibrate, and then place it on the animal, because sometimes it'll spook them a little bit, that vibration. Usually at the end, they're kind of, you're holding them there for, 20 or 30 seconds or a minute, however long the scan takes. And they're usually kind of used to it by the end of it. But that first initial vibration can sometimes catch them off guard. So, but yeah, you can scan all of your animals, and again, scan them once a week and just look for trends, look for things that are showing up. They're going to have, especially on those, that physical side of things, if you start seeing the same thing showing up scan after scan, you can say, hey, there's a few things here that we need to address to really focus on with your pets, your animals. So awesome question. Do you just scan the oils? So you can scan for anything. A lot of times, especially Young Living has some pet specific products. Those are always good to scan for. The oils are great to scan for. I usually would just scan currently with my dog, we just scan for just the oils. So that's what we currently just scan for. We don't do all the supplements and some of the other things, just because I know that regardless of whether it shows up or not, there's certain things that I'm not going to feed to my dog. And with the oils, I mean, obviously there's certain oils that I'm not going to use with my dog either, but there's a lot that I do. And so sometimes we'll be able to make a blend and, be able to diffuse it, or if it's, something that we can do topically. We've even done some things where we'll just drop it into a little dog dish and have him, drink some stuff up. He loves it. Not everything, not every oil, but there's plenty of oils that he'll definitely enjoy. But it's all got to be specific, and you just need to make sure and double check that it's safe for your pets or your animals. So for sure.
Did you see Melissa's question? How can you show the proper way to hold the scanner?
Yes, awesome question. So our marketing team loves for you guys to see that iTovi. You see that? So in all of our videos, it's being held just like that, which is totally fine. You just need to make sure that your fingers are fully covering the scanner. But that's why in all the videos it says that way, just because that's what our marketing team loves. I normally just tell people, make sure and put this big sensor right in the palm of my hand. I put my thumb right on top, and that just, either way, whether you do it with your fingertips and your thumb on top, or you put it in the palm of your hand, either way, I normally teach people just to put it in the palm of my hand like that. And then for an animal or, an infant or somebody, I'll hold it just like that. Just make sure that that sensor and that sensor are just firmly placed against the skin. Awesome questions. Any other questions or anything else about business building or network marketing or any of those things in general? I'm happy to help. How can you find the Facebook group? Just go to Facebook, and then in the search bar, just type in iTovi Business Builder. And if you do that, I'm the admin there, so I'll approve you, and you can join that group. It's a great group. There's almost 4,000 people in that group, and they're from all of the companies that we support. So you're going to see like posts from lots of different companies, which is great because they're sharing best practices. And a lot of times you'll have somebody say, oh, I did this scan party. I had 10 people come over to my house. We did this scan event. This is what worked well. This is what didn't work well. And so they're kind of sharing some best practices. It's also a great place to be able to just ask questions and say, hey, I'd like to build my business. What's worked for you guys? And you'll get a lot of responses. Hey, this is what we do at my company, or this is what we do here. And so we're kind of that neutral third party that we're unaffiliated with all of them. So everybody can come and have a neutral platform to be able to ask questions and share stories. And I do a lot of trainings there. We do a lot of trainings and a lot of other things as well. So question comes up, would you ever consider Bach flower essences for iTovi? So if that's a product company, I don't know specifically if that's a product company, but if it is, we do support a lot of other companies. So if there's enough demand for it, we will get those companies' products and we'll scan them into our system. I think we're involved with probably 25 or 30 different companies. Young Living is obviously one of our largest by far, but we do have a lot of other smaller companies that we're also supporting as well with those groups. So boom. Yeah, California Flower Essences Society. So I don't know exactly what that is, but if there's enough demand, we can definitely do it. So but anyway, any other questions about building your business, network marketing? Give everybody the last second here to answer any questions. Okay. Well, I just wanted to thank you guys. I know our time is valuable. I was told I had about 30 minutes and I'm a little over 30 minutes. So I just wanted to say thank you. If there's other things that you guys need, other support, if you've got a group of people that just want to know more about iTovi, if you want to go get some referrals of your own, or you just want other people that have a lot of questions, I do tons of these trainings, tons of Zooms. So, and my email is just super simple. I'll type it in here. It's just john@iTovi.com. So shoot me an email. I do a ton of smaller Zooms and trainings and presentations for anybody that has questions or just wants more information, or if you want to set up a special promo for your team and try to get some referrals. We do those as well, a lot of those as well. So
can you retype your email? I think it didn't.
Yeah, sorry. That was going to a direct message there. There we go. Let me copy this. Paste it out to everybody. There we go.
Thank you. And then real quick, for anybody that doesn't have an iTovi, can you share how they can get one?
Yeah, super simple. So get with the person that invited you. A lot of times you do have a referral code. So if somebody has an iTovi, they have what's called a referral code. And so they'll actually get a discount on their monthly payment, or they'll get a small reward, $50 for every referral. So get with the person that invited you, to be here, or the person that invited you to participate, maybe your upline, and then get their referral code. Wait for some of our promotions. We've got some huge promotions that are coming. We just had a huge anniversary sale. We sold just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but we have another big Black Friday sale coming up. So I won't give you a promo right now, but be looking for a Black Friday sale that's coming up here in like 2 weeks. It's going to be huge, and take advantage of that. And just you go to iTovi.com for more information. And that's where you would actually place the order, is just going to iTovi.com, but hold off for a couple of weeks until this huge promo happens, because I want you to get the best deal you can possibly get. And it's going to be a huge sale that we do.
Cool. Thank you.
I have a quick question. I just pulled up the website, and now I'm in Canada. Is this supported in the Canadian market as well?
For sure.
Okay.
In fact, we're in like 130 different countries. So our biggest group, some of our biggest groups are in Germany and South Africa and Romania. Cy, one of the founders, is in Mexico right now. We've got a ton of Canadians that are there, and yep.
Okay, great. And just so if I'm understanding this right, so there's a monthly plan, right?
Yep.
And then that includes and then plus you purchase the actual unit.
Yep. So there's a couple of different ways to get an iTovi. So you can either choose our monthly option, where you buy the iTovi, it's $50, and then you pay $40 a month. And that's just a subscription. It's like Netflix or any other, cell phone. As long as you have it and want it to work, it's $40 a month, or you can purchase it outright. So you can just do a one-time payment. Normally it's $830. We do run some big promos. In fact, I shouldn't tell you this, but on Black Friday, it's going to be $175 off. So it's a huge sale. Normally we do, you know, $50, maybe $80 off. It's going to be $175 off on Black Friday. So basically it would take it down to from 830 minus 175, and that would just be a one-time purchase. So it's just one time, no more payments, no more subscription, no subscription. It's just you have access to it with the app forever. And then we also have kind of a payment plan option where you're buying it, but you pay for it for 12 months. And then after that 12 months, no more payments. So a couple of different options. One of them's, you know, low barrier of entry of just getting the subscription. What a lot of people will do if they're kind of on the fence, they'll go with a monthly subscription and they'll use it for a couple of months. And if they're loving it, then they'll upgrade their account and purchase it outright. And then they don't have any more payments. So super, super simple. So yeah, three different ways to get involved to get an iTovi.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jon. I hope you feel better. Get more thieves into you.
I will. I've been loading up and now my wife's not feeling well. So we've got thieves getting ready to get diffused in our house for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we'll have the recording back in Spruce Society whenever, within a day, probably. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
And then Nicole from iTovi is going to come and talk next month about classes and stuff.
Yeah, she's got some awesome information on setting up classes, doing scan parties, doing all sorts of different class type work. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.